Our extensive understanding of the cosmos did not appear suddenly. The horrifying new experience Voyager 1 had with an unidentified force may open our eyes to a completely new perspective on space. Without the voyage of probes, our knowledge of space and some of our greatest achievements would be lacking. However, after years of circling around in space, one of the probes appears to be having problems. Come along with us as we explore the mysteries of outer space, an account of the two explorers. Two of the most significant space probes ever launched are cruising through space. Here's a peek at their intriguing tale. Thanks to the twin Voyagers 1 and 2, a great deal of what we know about space and its many secrets has been revealed. During the past 45 years, they have been collecting new data. When these missions were launched into orbit, there was no internet, no phones, and no contemporary technology. How absurd is that? Since Voyager 1's launch by NASA in 1977, the spacecraft has spent decades exploring space and providing us with a number of rare opportunities to view the solar system. An interesting fact is that the mission's duration exceeded expectations set by scientists. Things were very different in space, even after years of investigation on Earth. As spacecraft were able to drive themselves at the speed of other planets and fulfill the necessary milestones much faster, things might happen considerably faster. This made it possible for the choice to change the 30-year plan to an arbitrary 30-year journey. Voyager 1 was able to take the lead even though the two spacecraft, having somewhat different paths, left ground control 2 weeks apart. In a mere 12 years, less than half of the estimated time, Voyager 1 reached its destination. That's correct, 12 years is seen as short in space travel. Additionally, Voyager 1 was the first spacecraft to reach the solar system's edge. There was a greater probability of something going wrong, and it was a far riskier route for Voyager 1. Becoming lost in outer space was a very real possibility. These two probes have contributed greatly to our understanding of space travel. Scientists and NASA engineers are still in astonishment over data and photos taken by the twin Voyagers. The two showed us the renowned red spot on Jupiter and took the very first pictures of this massive planet. These missions have yielded other startling discoveries concerning many stars and planets, such as the presence of water on Europa, the identification of the largest natural satellite in the solar system, and the discovery of active volcanoes on Io. We were able to uncover things that we never knew existed or were even feasible, as well as get additional knowledge about locations throughout our solar system. Well, isn't it intriguing? Voyager 1 touched down on Saturn, its original intended destination, almost 13 years after taking off. With greater information about the planet's wind speeds and its short 10-hour days, scientists were able to comprehend it better. 10 hours seems like so little in a day. 24 seems like so much. We gained a great deal of knowledge on the nitrogenous habitats on Titan, the moon of the far-off planet. It also found 10 other moons on this distant planet. The two spacecraft parted ways to continue their own missions. After obtaining data at Saturn, Voyager 2 continued on its course toward the final 2 planets in our solar system, while Voyager 1 made a detour and traveled toward the heliosphere. These two Voyagers raised several new questions while also contributing to the answers to many others about the vastness of space. For example, Voyager 2 collected hitherto unseen data on Neptune, a planet traditionally thought to be inferior by scientists. How a planet so far from the Sun, receiving so little solar energy, could sustain such varied weather patterns and climates astounded and perplexed them. By 2004, both probes were extremely far from home and had arrived at what might be termed the far limits of our solar system. They had reached the termination shock, a location where solar winds dropped from millions of miles per hour to a mere 250 miles per hour, a pace that was nothing in comparison to blinding intergalactic speeds. Nothing in space and the solar system is little. Even though Voyager 1 had reached its limit, it still needed to pass through the heliosphere in order to enter interstellar space. Interstellar space and the heliopause. Let us now explain what the heliosphere is, in case you were wondering. It is, in essence, a shield that protects our solar system and planet from the intense radiation and energy of interstellar space. Nothing has been able to travel as far into space as Voyager 1, which has covered an incredible 12 billion miles since it was launched 45 years ago. Despite the fact that technology has advanced light years since then, The fact that this was accomplished with relatively little technology is even more amazing. Neither of the probes had a microprocessor on board. Those were non-existent even 10 years ago. The fact that there was very, very little, if any, software really contributed to the prolonged survival of the mission. Scientists and engineers surmised that the necessity of hardwiring everything was the reason for its extended functionality. The probes could operate for such a long time because the onboard processors were, at best, extremely low-power devices. Unlike modern spacecraft, which rely on advanced computing systems with sophisticated microprocessors, the Voyager probes were built using technology from the early 1970s. At that time, microprocessors were not yet widely available, and digital storage was extremely limited. Instead of relying on high-speed computers, the probes were designed with hardwired systems that could perform only specific tasks, making them highly efficient despite their apparent simplicity. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Voyager probes is their data storage and transmission system. An 8-track tape recorder, a technology that was widely used for music recordings at the time, was repurposed to store all the scientific data collected by the spacecraft's instruments. Unlike modern solid-state drives or even hard disk storage, these tape recorders had a very limited capacity and operated at a much slower speed. Data collected by the instruments had to be recorded in sequence and then transmitted back to Earth at specific times when the spacecraft was in the right position to communicate with NASA's Deep Space Network. Transmitting the data back to Earth was another challenge. The probes send information using a weak radio signal, which, by the time it reaches Earth, is billions of times weaker than the power of a standard wristwatch battery. Despite these limitations, NASA engineers devised a way to ensure that signals could still be detected across the vast distances of space. The signals were received using large radio antennas on Earth, part of NASA's Deep Space Network, which helped amplify and decode the faint transmissions from billions of miles away. Even more astonishing is the fact that the device responsible for sending this data consumed only about as much energy as a refrigerator light bulb. In today's world, where even a smartphone requires significantly more power to function, it is incredible to think that one of the most successful space missions in history has been powered by such minimal energy consumption. Well, isn't that just crazy? The amount we accomplished with such archaic technology is astounding. The fact that these probes, with their outdated hardware, continue to function and send back valuable data decades after their launch is a testament to the ingenuity and foresight of the engineers who designed them. Their longevity has far exceeded expectations, proving that even the most basic technology, when designed with precision, can achieve groundbreaking discoveries. However, there is an issue. Voyager 1 appears to be having problems after 45 years in operation. Has communication with aliens finally been established? Is space travel far riskier than we thought it would be? Or is there a far easier solution? How is our dependable space shuttle, Voyager 1, located approximately 14.5 billion miles from Earth, faring after decades in space? It's amazing that Voyager 1 is still functional. Nonetheless, a spaceship eventually experiences damage from spending 45 years by itself in the vastness of space, and this is starting to happen. Even while Voyager 1 appears to be fully operational, scientists have discovered that they are unsure of its precise location. We don't know where it is. Even though it didn't enter safe mode or raise any red flags, scientists and specialists at NASA are perplexed, but not really shocked. This kind of breakdown in a probe this old is hardly a major story. What transpired with Voyager 1, and what it encountered during its voyage into uncharted interstellar space, remains to be seen. Is there a malevolent power at work, or is the spacecraft just becoming old? Everything worthwhile has to end. Even with the mission's success, difficult choices must be taken to allow for future growth. The Voyagers appear to have crossed the finish line. We could be coming to an end. After 45 long years in deep space, the most recent bug and malfunction in Voyager 1's onboard computers and ACS will force it to retire. The American Space Agency has started shutting down its systems and bidding the probe goodnight. It's amazing that humanity was able to send probes into space that lasted for such a long time, even before the development of current technologies. After 2 identical probes gave humans the closest views yet of the 2 largest planets in our solar system, the mission has come to an end.